Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Hello, Sophie. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Hello, Savage. Yeah, book club indeed. Book club indeed. Okay, let me just do the thing perfectly. I think if I do this, it should immediately make it up. More or less. Nope, it's not. Okay. Whatever you do. There we go. Okay, are you ready for another book club iteration? Are you all ready for another book club iteration? Today is gonna be about fantasy. It's basically my specialty. Fantasy, high fantasy. A little bit of science in your fantasy, you got it. A little bit of magic, a little bit of alchemy, everything I'm knowledgeable of is this medieval. A little bit of a renaissance. Hello, Satumkara, welcome to the stream. A little bit of a renaissance, a little bit of maybe, just maybe, ancient times, you know, like a Roman thing. Everything. Fantasy goes long. Fantasy goes a lot of places. And it is amazing. Fantasy is my bread and butter. It's what I know how to produce. Give me a second though, I'm doing a thing over here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's wait for a couple more people to show up. So how is everyone doing? How is everyone doing over there? How are you, Savage? How are you, Sophie? How are you, Satumkara? Everything is okay over there? Everything is fine? Brian P, welcome! Welcome to the stream! Oh, you are? Let me guess, you now have the imploding? What? What? I hope you at least have your favorite food, your favorite treat, but this time it's not spoiled. Jeez. Okay. You're ready to go. Okay, that's great. Where are you going, Savage? Nice. Going out for a dinner, or you're just going out to buy stuff? I am employing cheese. Lactose intolerant. Yeah, indeed. Boy. Very well. In the 5-minute mark, we are going to start. That means in 30 seconds. The class will just start. Oh, your tea. You are so English. Try to get the game in the game. I love that talk. Yeah, get into gaming again. Gaming is a wonderful hobby. And for some of us, it's even a job. It's a wonderful hobby, wonderful world, just so much fun. Don't fault me. I will not fault you for your cultural inheritance. I should remove you. There should be a way to stop you from removing your own messages because they're why. Okay. So. We're currently inside a palace. If you want, we're gonna be doing changes of ambience from time to time. So yeah, that was intrigue. Let's change. Recording a silent playthrough for game again. Oh, that's amazing! That's amazing. What game? Or is this a surprise? Tell us if you want, if you can. Let's change the tone of the thing. Intrigue was enough. Yeah. So we're gonna go silence with that, and we're gonna go for a little bit of mystery, maybe. There we go. Yeah. 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 Perfect. So, fantasy. For quest. For quest. Let me see which one that is. For quest. The console game. Oh, looks beautiful. Huh. Oh my god, it looks so beautiful. Oh. It looks so cute. Looks like Undertale. I love it. Ah. Beautiful main characters, I love it. The pixel art is super cute. Oh, this is great. Oh, I love it. Oh, I actually like this. Oh, add it to the wish list. Add it to the wish list for quest. For quest. Love it. Love it. Well. Definitely, yeah, of course. A lot of games got their inspiration from that. I guess it's like it's the go-to. Wait a minute. What just happened? Music. We're gonna get some music. Let me see. It's not here. I should have some music over in. Put this one. What about the? Wait. This one is action. This is not the one I'm looking for. This one is. No, this one is not a book. This one. Found it. Okay, come on. There we go. This one is the one. Yeah. There we go. This one is good. I love it. Let's change the palace for the countryside. The countryside, we're gonna put it a little lower in volume. There we go. Yeah. Let's set the tone. It wasn't cheese, but very well. Very well. Very well. Oh, God damn it, what just happened? Ah, this is like a stupid idiot. I just deleted every single one of them. There we go. Now we go. There we go. Okay, so. Remember to leave a like, by the way, because that help us out with the algorithm and stuff. With my natural makeup, whatever it was. So, you basically got like you basically have an allergic reaction in your skin. That's the worst. Right, also called poison control. Yeah, indeed. Right? Kara should put like labels into everything. Which one is poison and what's not. Well, what do you know about fantasy? Oh, I can't wait the day that I can use more emojis. Okay, so, but for that we need more members of the channel. Well. So, what I wanted to ask was, what do you know about fantasy? What do you know about fantasy? Tell me about it. What do you know about fantasy? What do you think fantasy is? What do you think fantasy is? How does it work? It's a good today, by the way. So, let's go for the first question, right? So, what is fantasy? First question, important question. What is fantasy? The medieval time and D&D. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's actually write that down immediately. Because you are right. Medieval. Medieval. And D&D, because the classics D&D. Okay. What else? What else? Mystical thing going on. Perfect. So let's put like mystical and magic. Perfect. What else? What else? Come on. Kara, come on. I know you know something about fantasy. Write it down. Share with the class. Monarchy. Okay. This is great. Okay. Monarchy. Great. What did I write about monarchy? I forgot an R. There we go. Very well. So, Frida, you have anything to say to the class? Anything you know about fantasy? Hot elves? Well, let's put that into the mix. Because believe it or not, that's part of the fantasy. Let's put it like attractive people. Attractive characters. Because they are indeed. So, knights, fights, and dragon. Yeah, indeed. Knighthood is one of them. Knighthood. Monsters. Dragons. Indeed. What else? We are hitting goal here. Mythical creatures. Yeah. And I forgot that I always. Oh my god! My key binding. Give a second that I'm going to do something with the key binding. Oh no! I need to do something with the key binding immediately. My god! This key binding is going to get in the way. Okay. Oh, really quickly, really fast. I need to change this. 1, 2, and 7. There we go. This one needs to go into another thing. Let's put it into the... Oh, I can put it into this. Okay. No, it doesn't exist, really. Oh, great. So... Oh! This one will work. Yeah, why not? Very well. Yeah, there we go. And then the other thing that I need to change is actually the... let me go. Just let me change this one and we're done. Because... Jesus. Number 9. Yeah. This one needs to be... let me go for a key that I don't usually use. Oh, that one actually. This one. Okay, that one doesn't work. But then... Can I go for it? No. God damn. I use all the keys. God damn. I will just go for... I think I'm being bombarded by messages. Give me a second though. I will look at that in a second. Yeah, let's put this one. I don't think I'm going to use that. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm a fool. If I go for... There we go. There we go. Aha! Done it. I'm back. Sorry about that. Now we have the key binding thing fixed. Okay, let me see. Coins. Yeah, coins, indeed. But I have very old wartime French coin. Oh, that's amazing. I used to have a Roman dinner, but I lost it. Well, someone lost it for me. Give me a second. Something is happening, and I think it's important. Wait a second. Something is happening. Wait. Something is happening. Something really important. A second. What is happening? Let me see. What is happening? Something weird? Give me a second. I think something really important is happening, and I don't know what. And they are not answering me, so okay, I guess everything is... No, at a time, I don't know. Otherwise, that's happened. Weird. Okay. I believe everything is fine. I think everything is fine. I don't know. Oh, sorry. No, nothing out of the ordinary. I don't know. Have you ever had like someone send you like one letter at a time to take your attention? That's what is happening right now. Oh my god! Wait a second. There we go. That's it. It's done. It's done. That is done. I don't know what just happened. Don't worry about it. Okay. I will go back to you. A bunch of coins, both real currencies and fake coins, just to fill a stack of coins. Yeah, it's the best thing. Having coins is the best. Okay, so coins. Let's go back to coins. So, how do we say the physical objects in that sense? Coins and let's say trinkets. I guess those are the things that usually are used. Okay. What else do we have? What else do we have? Tell me what. We're doing great, by the way. Perfect. Crime. Yes. Oh, actually, yes, Satugara. Yes, the idea of the rogue is really entrenched in fiction. Indeed, the idea of the rogue, the thief, the all of those. So let's put like I don't want to say like crimes. I would go like lawless characters. Indeed, bandits too. I will put down myself bandits. There are a lot of things that fantasy is, isn't it? Like I had just to ask like just a couple. I need just to ask one question, and all of you nearly went like crazy. It merely went off like crazy. Perfect. A big treasure hunt? Yeah, that's one of the plots. Actually. That's a plot. A really common trope. Treasure hunt. Perfect. But don't forget about this one. Love is really important. Okay, so let's round it up and say that all of this is fantasy, okay? All of this is fantasy. And now, I'm going to actually show you what else can be fantasy, okay? You all went for the regular and let's say like expected things that I was expecting actually for this class, and it was exactly that, the medieval setting. Everybody went for that one, medieval setting. Welcome, Danny. Thank you for coming to the stream. I can see you can finally see the stream. Okay, so what was I saying? You know exactly how it goes. Every single one of you were thinking of medieval places. Now, what about if I tell you something like this? Like, let's say, let's go here. If I say this, modern, I mean like contemporary. Let's say contemporary Ottoman Empire, where there are dragons, the jinns, and ghouls. Is that fantasy? Dragons in the Balkans, the jinns in the deserts of in the desert of how is it called, the desert that is on the right, Arab in the Arab desert, and ghouls in the Levant. Look at that. Something over here. Dragon stole it for me. Really love it. So, now you have our world, okay? But the fantastical element is there. Now you have dragons, you have genies, that's what the genie is, and you have ghouls. That's amazing. And that is fantasy. Fantasy doesn't need to have necessarily a super like grandiose new world. That's why we have actually two sets of fantasies in the midst. That we have two sets of fantasies. Main fantasy genres, I will say, genres. You have high fantasy, that is making a world from scratch, and then you have just regular old fantasy, that is like how do we say, putting something extraordinary into our own world. This is either it is not how you write either, I know, it's either with the either a regular occurrence or something brand new. Fantastical element. You have two things. Oh, the Balkans are right, like God, Jesus. And either an occurrence. Thank you very much. Beautiful Grammarly. Beautiful Grammarly. Okay. So you have all of that. Okay. It is the best. So, have you ever read a book that is fantasy set in this world? I will tell you one right out of that. Narnia. Narnia is a mix between high fantasy and regular fantasy. Well, regular fantasy. And you can have actually something a little bit more mainstream will be, let's say, Harry Potter, even Twilight. Even though it's a romance, it's fantasy. Because it has vampires and stuff, and werewolves, and all of those creatures. Also, there is another thing that I want to write. I want to say that this is another thing that is important, and that is that fantasy is versatile. Super versatile. It's not like science fiction that we were talking last week. In science fiction, for example, the thing was different because fantasy is versatile. It is flexible and easy to identify. It's really easy to identify. When you have something about fantasy, you can identify it basically immediately. I have a book over here that is fantasy, like a horror fantasy. The name is The Historian. This is a book that I actually recommend. It's super great, it's super amazing. The name is Let me just go there. Right. Very well, very well, very well. And now let me actually change the music a little bit. Yes. Let's go for a little bit of fear. Love it. So, this is one. So, we have, for example, Narnia. The Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter. Then we have Percy Jackson. Then we have a little more under books, for example. Well, let's go actually to another genre. Let's go for just to say Inuyasha. Boku no Hero Academia. Boku no Hero Academia. And then we have like what else? Everything is fantasy basically. It's fantasy, by the way, we're talking about that. But yeah, you have a lot of things. And obviously urban fantasy, well, you have like subgenres that you can actually like disintegrate the whole thing. It's even more, it goes deeper. Fantasy goes even deeper. Boku no Hero Academia, Inuyasha, Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, other like TV shows, movies, everything. You have so much. Fantasy is something that humanity has been doing for so long, even longer than science fiction. And we just love it. For example, King Arthur, the classic. I mean, King Arthur is fantasy. And then we go for we can go for a little bit of comedy. Fantasy will be Monty Python. Monty Python is rated like this, I believe. Monty Python, and then you can have like and the knights of the square table, was it? I don't remember. And the knights of the whatever, redacted thing. And then you can go, for example, for another thing. What was it? Oh, the Historian. This is a book, Historian, by Elizabeth. How was the name? It was a long name, Mexican. Kostova, by Lady Kostova. She's an historian, if I'm not mistaken. Kostova. By Kostova Elizabeth. There we go. There is a lot. There's a lot to talk about fantasy, so buckle up. Children of the Red King. Say, My Hero Academia is a fantasy. I always thought it was close to sci-fi, or some other genres. Nope, it's not. It's actually fantasy. If you think about it, science fiction, it's something to do with technology as the centerpiece. Boku no Hero Academia actually has like a really strong fantastical element, and that really strong fantastical element is the superpowers of the characters that don't have any kind of reason of existence. It's not like they get bodily modifications or anything. They just are born with it. Even the technological ones, they are born with this stuff. So that's how it actually is. It's not science fiction. It's actually fantasy. We could even say that it's an urban kind of fantasy, modern kind of fantasy. That is fantasy. Oh, that's another one. Superman, for example, is fantasy. Iron Man, for example, is more likely science fiction than fantasy. That is one of the things. Ooh, eerie atmosphere. Let me put another one. Eerie atmosphere. Go. Now let's gonna go for. And actually, let's go for the town square. I know what to do. Heh. Look at the town square. Town square. Then we're gonna go for. Let me see. Is this a... No, this one is not a book. This is not a booklet. I need the music though. Where is it? Maybe. There we go. Yeah, why not? Let's continue with this one. Yeah, Boku no Hero Academia is actually fantasy. Welcome to the market, by the way. I think I will go actually to to another place. Let's go to the... Stop that one. Thank you very much. Let's go actually to the palace. Palace is much better. Palace is more peaceful. There we go. Perfect. What else can I say that is fantasy? Well, Superman and Green Lantern. Of course. These are for the subgenre of superheroes, actually. You can have a lot of subgenres in fantasy, but fantasy is like the main trunk, you know? Fantasy is like the main, the base of the tree, I will say. And then everything is sprouts out of it. Like I say, fantasy is super flexible. You can have so many subgenres of fantasies, as many as you can imagine. You have urban fantasy, medieval fantasy, Renaissance fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons. You have dystopias, utopias, you name it, you have it. Modern, ancient, future, so much fantasy. Because fantasy is so freaking good. Oh, hello, the Sleepgate Studio. Let me just, Sabash, I need for your assistance. Please provide a link to the Discord, because Sleepgate Studios has a Discord server now. Because a Discord user. So please provide a Discord link. Thank you. Thank you. If I write it, I cannot delete it. So please do you. Do it you, Savage. Do it you. You do it. Thank you. So that's how it goes, right? Fantasies everywhere. Now, what are the common themes of fantasy? What can you tell me about the common themes of fantasy? What have you seen in the fiction genre on the fantasy side? So, what are the tropes? Well, let's start with the tropes, actually. The tropes. What are the tropes? I will start by saying two. Hero versus villain. And then I will say, hope in a better tomorrow. And then I will add another one, actually, and that is fight for what you believe in. Those are common tropes, really common. You have seen everything. Hero versus villain, you have it in Boku no Hero Academia. Hope in a better tomorrow, you have it in the Lord of the Rings, and fight for what you believe in, you have it in, let's say, well, you have it in, for example, Superman. That's one of the things. You can actually fight for what he believes in. All of them. Do you have any other common trope in fantasy that you have been able to identify? That you want to share with the class? So tell me. Do you have any other common trope? Why do I have the feeling that the chat just died on me for some weird reason? I'm going to reload the page of YouTube. I'm going to reload the YouTube page. I don't know, I have a hunch. I have a little hunch. Indeed it is. Indeed it did, maybe. Important stuff tomorrow. Brian Love, Brian P. Have a good day. Have a wonderful day, Brian P. Slipgate Studios, let me give you one of the Discord links then. Wait a minute. Are you here? I think you are. Oh, yep. Here you are. You are already in the Discord. Welcome. Save the princess. Indeed. Indeed. That's an amazing trope. Save the princess. Such a classic. Save the princess. Indeed. Save the kingdom too. Stop tyranny too. Stop tyranny. Rivals. Yeah, rivals. Rivals indeed. Indeed, rivals. Rivals indeed. Rivals is one of those. Rivals, and then I would put the subgenre of rivals to lovers. Because it's super fun to see. That's a subgenre actually. It's like a perfect living studio. Thank you. Something politics. Yeah, it did. Something politics. It did. Those are actually some of that are actually common indeed. Let's put political conflict. Political conflict. It's usually when you have political conflict is a conflict of ideas on how to govern. It could be, for example, a monarchy versus republic, or maybe it could be a tyranny versus a set of rules. And then you can have, for example, multiculturalism versus monoculturalism. That's actually something usually seen in fantasy. More of them in it's Python like this. Okay, if you say so, good thing. It's something really, really common because, especially this last one, because we usually delve into elves, dwarves, orcs, etc., all living together in the same world and usually killing each other until someone comes along and actually they say, like, stop it. The hero actually comes in and makes everyone go against, and here is another trope, a common thread that unites everyone. That's actually something really, really common. Common thread. A common enemy, I would say. Common enemy. Uniting a fragmented land. How many times have you seen them? For example, in Warcraft. Warcraft does that. Humans, orcs, night elves, and all of those are fighting in the new continent. Well, all continent, depending how you look at it. And suddenly, you have them all coming together to face the undead and the forces of chaos. It wasn't the forces of chaos, it was the Legion, I believe was the name. The Infernal Legion, there we go. I'm not sure if that's a specific fantasy thing. It is. The Lone Wanderer is actually a common trope in many fiction. Even in science fiction, you have the Lone Wanderer. The mercenary, the priest, the adventurer, a lot of them, or even the renegade. They are super common and they are really good for storytelling because you have a character that is alone and it's going to meet people along the way that will make him change his ways, or maybe even reinforce his ways. It's less common that last one because we like to create hopeful narratives. We don't like necessarily to create grim, dark narratives all the time. We actually love to do that. Writers love their grim, dark, okay? But we also like from time to time to have an upbeat in our hearts, like, yeah, everything's going to be fine and you can make friends, etc. Get the rain, Frodo. Indeed, indeed. So, Lone Wanderer. Let's put that one into the list. Lone Wanderer. Indeed. Those ones are really important. Lone Wanderer is such a staple of the genre that you cannot even think something without a Lone Wanderer in some form or shape. Like maybe the main characters aren't Lone Wanderers, but they meet one. For example, Aragorn. The main characters in The Lord of the Rings, they are all together. They are the hobbits. They go out in a group. It's Frodo, Sam, Pippin, and Merry, right? Those four. And they go out in an adventure, thanks to Gandalf, that actually says to them, hey, you need to go and do this or everyone will be doomed. And then they meet the Lone Wanderer. And that one is Aragorn, who they meet in a tavern, for all places. A place that is actually so romanticized that I love it. But that's how you do it. You meet Aragorn, and Aragorn is the Lone Wanderer. That then softens a little bit and starts to go with a group. And he's also the Lost King of Gondor. You see, fantasy is amazing. It's versatile, it creates a lot of cool scenarios, and it can actually make for a really good story. If you want to start writing something, I would say to start with something about fantasy, because that is fun and it's easy to achieve, because you just go bananas. you just go bananas with it. You want to have the kid that is actually the son of the rightful king of the land that was disposed by his greedy brother, who then murdered all his family, but this gay kid got away, and he's now living as a farmer without knowing his true self, and then he meets a priestess who actually was looking for him, and then they go out and they fall in love, but she's a priestess, she cannot have any kind of feelings towards another man, so they actually cannot form the bond, but they go together regardless. They go as friends, really, really close friends, and they defeat the usurper and get the rightful king sit on his throne. There you have a whole movie, a whole book. It's amazing. It's great. And along the way, from that adventure, by the way, along the way to that adventure, our main character actually meets with another potential candidate romantic partner, and that romantic partner is a rogue, is actually a criminal. But this criminal was actually first a noble, but her title was stripped away by the tyrant. So they have a common enemy and they have a common thing to do. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you have a new romantic partner entering the mix, and that romantic partner is actually the one who's going to win. See? You have there a whole story, and it's great. And then you have the priest, obviously, like having how do you say this? A crisis of faith, because she actually loves the prince, but she can't marry and she doesn't want to go against the tenets of her temple. So she actually blessed the union between the rogue noble and the prince, the farmer prince. See? This story that I just told you, it's super cliche, but it works. Fantasy. Just have fun. If you're going to write something, write fantasy first. Because it doesn't have all the technicalities of science fiction. It doesn't have the intricacies of trying to write something set in the real world where you actually cannot do some things, or you can actually do some things, but you will actually get into fantasy if you do too much. And so on, so on, so. See? This is how I do it. And my brain is actually fantasy setting all the time, so that's why I was able to actually came with this idea, this whole book just out of my head in a second. That's how it works. That's why I always say, write fantasy first and then go for the rest. Not necessarily high fantasy, you can actually write something set in your own country where there is suddenly a dragon. Or where there is suddenly something that you find a salamander. Other things that you need to know is this. Now that we are talking about a little deeper about fantasy. Are you a fantasy character? Probably am. Yep. Probably am. Probably came into this world by accident. And I actually trying to get back, but they can't. So. Let's go over here. Let's go over here and write something else that I want to write. And that is something else. Things that you need to have in consideration when writing fantasy, okay? Things to have in consideration. When writing fantasy, especially high fantasy, okay? And that is one thing. Now we're gonna talk a little bit more in depth, okay, about fantasy world building in this case. And that is, first come first, if it's high fantasy, like you have, like I said, you create your own world from scratch, okay? You need to think about this, and that is, how does the creatures of your world cohabit with the fantastical elements? That is really important. For example, do they use fire salamanders as a heat source, like in ovens or fireplaces? That's one of the things, for example. How do you use the magical elements? If I have a creature, a little lizard, for example, that actually emanates heat and likes to be in the middle of a fire because that's the best way they have to live and they actually are comfortable with it, why don't you use that to your advantage? If I have that creature, I will put it in the oven or even in the fireplace in the winter, and I will just throw sticks at it. And the sticks will catch on fire. And then you have something better than phosphorus, something better than flint. You just have a lizard that does the job for you. You just throw stuff next to the lizard, and the lizard will burn them for you. Or even better, you have a wyvern. You have a wyvern. Wyvern. I think it's you know, the ice-breathing dragon, right? You have a wyvern, an infant wyvern, living in your wine cellar to keep the wine cold all year long. Same with meat and other food to prevent spoiling. See? How do you adapt to magical creatures? How does society adapt to magical creatures? That's something that you need to think about it. Also, do they want to tame it, they respect them, or they want to destroy them? That's another thing that you need to think about it. A whole set of things exist that all cultures had to adapt to. Different peoples have to adapt to. So, how do they work? How do they do it? It's an amazing way. If you put the talk exercise into it, you will have an amazing time and a lot of fun, because you will start seeing things like, hey, how does it work? How would it work if I could just cheat death, for example? How does it work if death itself is actually a physical entity? Can you negotiate with it? Can you trick it? Can you do, for example, in that regard, right? How does your characters react to death if they have a way to come back? That is commonplace. For example, revival spells are so common that you actually have traveling guys that sell the service. Or maybe they're so common and so easy to use that actually any family member can do it. And you can have a really cool setting where nobody actually dies. Or maybe they want to die, but they're not allowed to. For example, what would happen if you actually have a king, right? For example, because there's another thing of fantasy, and that is limits. Limits to the magic. You can have them or not. Okay, you can have them or not. Limits to the magic or perks, let's say. You can have them or not, right? Like consequences to using magic, or like limits to what magic can do actually. For example, more like a horror idea, it will be a king that is so good at his job that his subjects keep him alive in the throne with magic. So he can keep on ruling forever. But he doesn't get any younger, nor is he okay with that. This is kind of like Warhammer if you think about it, but well, there is something that you need to do, that you need to know about anything. Let me just put that in the beginning of the document because it's really important, okay? Really important thing to know. There is nothing new under the sun. Okay? That means that everything has already been used. The thing is how you use it. So I was thinking about this how does that work topic. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. What were you thinking? Share it. I want to know. Tell me, Savage. Write it down. Write it all down. While you're writing it down, I will continue with the lecture a little bit. So, we have all of these things set to fantasy, okay? Now, you need to know this. Fantasy, like I say, fantasy, let's like remark this again. Fantasy is super versatile. 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 Super versatile. Okay? You can have Grim Dark mixed with comedy and then just turn it into a hopeful narrative. Hopeful narrative. You can have a grim dark mixed with comedy and then turn it into a hopeful narrative. Now, where is the challenge in that is in the fact that how do you think I take a grim dark I mean, grim dark with comedy kind of go hand in hand if you have a little bit of a twist sense of humor. And then, how do you turn that into hopeful narrative without taking the grim dark element away? Well, I could say, for example, let's say this. For example of this transition, okay? There is a tyrant that is in a constant state of conflict. He just loves war and follows a war god. Now, our main character wants his city to stop providing troops because they are actually running out of people. So the city is suffering. For this, he embarks on a quest to stop the king. But he fails so spectacularly against the king himself in a duel that he actually spares the city the need to provide troops because such weaklings don't have a place in my army. They would slow us down. You have a bittersweet victory. You achieved what you wanted by being defeated. You have a story over there. Look at that. Okay, let me just conflict this. And okay. When I write fast, I don't realize. Okay. Let's just fix all of these. There we go. See? They had about some kind of purgatory that you had the chance to earn your chance at life back, but you do need to make a sort of deal with the devil. Not the devil, but the lord of the realm. I love it. I love it. I love that idea, actually. That's cool. You can even say that you can even go for like 3 routes. Listen to this story that I just came out with that idea, okay? Savage idea, okay? This is how I will do it. I will do something like this. You can have 3 ideas actually with that. The hopeful, the neutral, and the grimdark, okay? Grimdark is kind of it's kind of a fashion today, by the way. It's not going to stay forever, I will say. There will be a time where we'll go back to hopeful, then neutral, then grimdark. It's like I think we go. Like, we go from one extreme to another, and then we go back to 0, and then we go to one extreme, and then to another, and so forth. That's how usually the wheel turns in writing stuff and creating fiction. This is how I will do it. I will grab, in the hopeful thing will be gods are lords of the ethereal. Mortals have souls. Said souls have a basal mark on them. Once one dies, the god will choose their champions to bring back to life, to make humanity prosper. So everyone is living according to a set of tenets in order to, when they die, become champions and be given a holy mission by the gods. Okay, that's the one. That's the hopeful, right? The one that is like good, cool, nothing bad will happen, the characters will have good things, everybody will be okay. This is like the most hopeful you can have. The neutral will be there are good and evil gods, and your soul is tossed into the realm of the beyond. Beyond. Let's put it like this. It will be, correct me immediately. How was beyond? There we go. Beyond. It's beyond. No, I don't think it's beyond. Ah, damn it. How do I write it? Beyond. Beyond the. Oh my god, I'm going to die here. I'm going to die. Yeah, it must be like that. Go toss it into the realm of the beyond. In there, you have to look for a god and make a deal with them to propel their gospel, whatever this might be, and if you are okay with it, and then you can get tossed back to life. But people look at the the revived one, the chosen ones, or the dealers, how do you say someone, the contracted ones. That's how they call the ones who come back. Look at the contractor with distrust, because you don't know their true agenda. That's how it is. For example, you might find the god of tyranny in this world, and he will be like, you need to put a tyrant into the throne, and I want to see everyone like suffer under his foot. Or you can have the god of fairness, and he will be like, you need to become a judge and bring fairness to the kingdom, and so forth. It depends on who you actually sign the contract with. But when you come back, you don't need to tell the truth. You can tell that I'm here to set the rightful king into the throne, and you're actually trying to put the most evil person into the throne. But who is to say that you're lying or saying the truth? Nobody will know until the plan is full-fledged out. Until the thing is already done. Put some food in that selection, okay? So, then, what we're gonna do now is the Grimdark. In the Grimdark, though, all gods are evil in some way, shape, or form. Okay? Some way, shape, or form. And they will demand for you to go back and do evil things. And if you refuse, you will be, your soul will be consumed and destroyed. Or something even bad, even worse. Thus, people in the living world, when someone dies, usually burn the bodies, so the souls do not have a vessel to come back to. But then the soul will get into an animal and mutate said animal, giving birth into a monster. But an irrational monster is easier to deal with than a full-fledged champion of a terrible god. There you go. There you have another one. There you have another one. Do you have this one? Actually, I probably will write something about this one because I like the Grim Dark is actually really cool. I like it. It's actually really, really cool. So those are the ideas that you actually trigger in my brain, Savage, just by writing that up. Those are the 3 settings. The helpful, the neutral, and the evil one. It's amazing. Food in that selection, I will do that. Such variety. Indeed, see, fantasy can be so freaking versatile, okay? That's something that you need to put into your little brains, into your big brains, into your little brains, whatever brain you size you have. It doesn't make you more or less intelligent to have a big brain or a small brain. You need to put that thing into your brain, that fantasy is versatile. You can have it from the hopeful to the most terrible thing, and it will work, and you can go bananas with it, and you can explore every single aspect of humanity with fantasy. Every single aspect of humanity. You can have humanity lost, humanity found, humanity destroyed, humanity changed, or maybe even another race completely different from humans that actually behave like humans or even behave better than us. And I don't know, someone else take advantage of that, or someone else actually suffers because of that. You can do so much. You can do so freaking much. It's such an amazing thing. And that's how fantasy works. That's my bread and butter. As you can see, I am super fast at creating fantasy settings because that's exactly what I do. That's my specialty. See, I love the idea of the Grim Dark here because it's super cool, the idea of they burn the bodies, and if you burn the body, you actually, if the person that just died make a deal with the devil, or the devils, plural, it goes back into something random, and that something random will actually become a monster, but the monster is easy to deal with than actually a champion from the gods with a human body and a human mind. That's actually really cool indeed. So, there you have it. I will actually write a story about that. I will actually write a novel probably. That's a great thing. Fantasy. Fantasy is beautiful. With fantasy, you can explore, and let me write that down. With fantasy, you can explore everything you want to explore. Everything. There is no topic that is missing from fantasy. There is no a single topic. Because you can even do science fiction with the fantasy. You can do whatever you want. That is the marvel of fantasy. Fantasy as a genre has so much potential. Fantasy actually is, and let me write this down so you can actually understand this. Because, like I say, fantasy is the main branch, and then you have the subgenres, but fantasy is Lovecraft. Fantasy is Borges. Fantasy is Verne. Fantasy is, and now I'm going to another thing, not only books. Dali. Fantasy is Da Vinci. Fantasy is Legends, and fantasy is supernatural. Fantasy is fun. Fantasy. Ladies and gentlemen, fantasy. You know I love science fiction, but for me, the superior everything is fantasy. Because fantasy goes everywhere. Fantasy just goes everywhere. It goes with everything. You want to have a meeting with God, you can have it. You want to have a meeting with an immortal, you can have it. You want to have a meeting with a celebrity, you can have it. You want to have a cult-like thing that is trying to change the world for the better, you can have it. You want to have a cult-like thing that is trying to change the world for the worse, you can have it. You want to have a setting set in London in the 18th century, you can have it, where Jack the Ripper is actually a time traveler killing the people that will actually be the creators of the next horrible people, even worse than him. For example, a fantasy, there we go there, a time traveling fantasy, okay? That's actually a cool idea. Another idea. Time traveling fantasy. Time traveling fantasy that is sci-fi, but also fantasy. It would be Jack the Ripper victims. Victims were actually the women's that would have given birth to the worst people in history. He was a time traveler trying to avert chaos, and he did. That is a twist. See, that's a twist. That's a twist. You have, for example, a Jack the Ripper that is actually a good guy. He was always a good guy, but we never knew. It's the paradox of, would you kill the Mustacho Man? Well, maybe Jack the Ripper did that, but we never knew. He actually averted an even worse fate than the one we currently went through. Imagine that. Who knows? And where is the line between science fiction and fantasy? Like I say, it's really blurry. For me, everything is like fantasy. The only difference is it high fantasy or just like regular fantasy, right? That's why as of late, I believe it was in the last decade, maybe 2 decades ago, I don't remember exactly when, but it was starting to like come along the term of soft and hard science fiction and even fantastical science fiction. Because people were like, no, this is not sci-fi. How could this be sci-fi if sci-fi is actually like something that you need to like move, right? Like something that you need to like have a scientific thing backing it up. So how can be Star Wars something that is not fantasy? It doesn't have anything backing it up. It doesn't matter. It's just science fiction, but with a bit more fantasy in it. Be happy. Now, let's talk about the audience of sci-fi, actually, because all of you, with all the things you have said so far, are actually in that category. You're actually consumers of fantasy. And there are both good things with the consumers, good things with the consumers of fantasy, right? And this is, they are flexible, right? They're flexible. They can adapt. They tend to adapt. They like both the hard and the soft magic systems. You know, hard and soft magic systems. Magic system is where you have like a set of rules that are set in stone, and flexible is when you can just do whatever you want. But usually, consumers of fantasy are flexible. They like both things and they can read whatever. They're flexible, they are open to new ideas, and they like some degree of change. But this is the important part, remark this, degree, and some. Actually, the mark some. Some is really important, okay? Because it's the other thing, bad things with the consumer of fantasy. And that is, of late, this thing is that everyone is expecting basically Game of Thrones. Okay? Everyone is expecting that kind of fantasy as of late. And other thing, the most are hard set on the medieval setting. Really hard set. So they actually are like a little close off to another kind of fantasy. Sometimes, not always, okay? I'm talking about like the larger thing that I can actually like identify when I go around in the world. The problem is, the main problem for me is this one, okay? This one. Everybody said on Game of Thrones, this is like the important part. Because everybody wants the grim dark of stuff like that. They love it. They just love it. And I don't understand why it's so hard set on it. It's a little sad, actually. And I guess it is because we are tired of hope-driven narratives. And this is a we. But it's not like we are tired. They are actually tired of another thing. They are actually tired of the cliches used in a poor way. That's actually the thing. Everybody is waiting for that thing, sadly. But at the same time, though, you have the counterculture coming along, okay? Because this is the fun part right now, okay? This is like a trend. This is a trend in, let's say, in broader terms, the West. But coming from Japan out of nowhere, we have hopeful fantasies. Like, let's say, the one of the Dragon Magi, the one of the ones who eat in the dungeon, I don't remember the name, eat in the dungeon, I will put it dungeon. And then you have other ones, and there are actually a lot of them that are like high fantasy theme that are actually cool. Okay, hopeful fantasy is something. They actually do hopeful fantasies, but with the grim tone. The weirdly grim tones. They actually do it. Tones. Why did they tones? It, like, oh, why did I click enter? I wanted to click backspace. But with some degree of grim tones. They actually love to do a mix of them, and they do it really well. We are all waiting for the next Game of Thrones when what we will probably have in the near future is the next Lord of the Rings. And another thing that I want you to get out of your head, because this is really important, okay? This is really important that I wanted to get all of you out of your head, because something really important over here, okay? There is no evolution in the genre, okay? There is no evolution in the genre, or any genre for that matter. There are trends, but not evolution. That is important. It's not like we went for hopeful to neutral to grim dark. That's not how it works. We always had the tree co-inhabiting. I think I'm writing it wrong. Yeah, I did. Co-inhabiting, okay? We always have the three co-inhabiting. Always have them. Because we had, for example, let me show you. We had the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings. That is one of the hopeful. Hope. Then we have Dune. That is the grim dark. And then Doom, you can say that is like science fiction, but like I say, the line between science fiction and fantasy is blurry. You can actually call almost, not the hard science fiction, but you can almost call everything a fantasy, and then say it's science fiction and it's a fantasy. This is another thing, right? And then we have like one neutral. Neutral could be of the same time. Let me think, like maybe, which could it be? Like there already is Hope, Dune is Grimdark, and then we have neutral. Neutral could be, let me see behind me, let me see my books. Let me see my books. I believe neutral could be, where are you? So many books, and I know I have one of them that is actually like neutral in the specter of how it of the tone. Huh. Maybe a comic would be good. I can't find any over here. I have a lot of hope thing, and I think about it. Let me see my old library over here. Do you have anything over here that is like neutral? Well, I could say something more like historical fantasy. Yeah, historical fantasy would be nice. And then we have the neutral. I can't think of one right now. Okay. That's it. I want to know something. Is there anyone writing after Savage? I have the weird feeling that this thing is not being... Let me see. I think this is not being... No, it is, it is. So, yeah, okay. There's no cadence in chat. Got it. I was just making sure that nobody was right. Perfect. Another thing that I wanted to write about fantasy, okay? And this is the big part that I want to say, okay? This is a big part, and I think it's a good time to actually end the stream. Now, actually, I will go for 11 more minutes, and then I will open up for questions. Like a classroom. Okay, so this is the thing, okay? This is the thing that I want to say right now. Fantasy is universal. It is the trunk of the tree. And I write trunk wrong. Of course I did it. Trunk of the tree. Branches are everything else, but everything can be tracked back to fantasy as a concept, as a cornerstone of everything ever created. Because fantasy is both a genre and it's both a genre, a specific genre, and the whole pantry of ingredients. What you get out of the mix, it is made with fantasy, but has another name. For example, science fiction, slice of life, etc., etc. That's how it works. Or you can have a fantasy, just like that. But just think about it like this. It is always fantasy. Everything is fantasy, from Terminator to the... I don't know. Put whatever you want in there. Fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. This was fantasy. I believe I don't know if I make it clear. You know, my brain goes everywhere when I'm talking about this. But fantasy has unlimited potential for storytelling, introspective, and enjoyment. Okay? Catharsis is the name of the game. You need to make your audience feel something new. Something completely new. There is, for example, I will tell you the best case of catharsis and fantasy that I can think of, the most ancient example I can think of. There are actually two. There are actually two, that I want to put that. Catharsis and fantasy. You have the Epic of Gilgamesh, okay? The Epic of Gilgamesh, super important one if you want to read something good, that one's one. The Epic of Gilgamesh. Then you have the Iliad and the Odyssey. Odyssey. Oh, god damn it. Odyssey. There we go. Okay, in English it's different than in Spanish. Odyssey. And then I will have the one that you will like. The Persians. These are all like, you know, all the text, okay? I'm talking BC. The Persians by this one, isn't it? Yeah, this one is it. By Iculus. Yeah, Iculus is the name of the creator. It is a work, okay, made from basically the perspective of the defeated of the Persian. Okay, it's an amazing tale. It's very interesting. And it goes for that one. And it actually tries to make the people of freaking Greece, in a sense, to empathize with the defeated invasion force. It's interesting. It's an interesting book. It's not necessarily like making try to empathize, but you can actually get it because it's like mourning the death of everyone that died in that battle. So, fantasy, ladies and gentlemen, it's everywhere. Now, any questions for your teacher over here? Because we're reaching the end of it. I think we have done a lot actually today. It was super fun. So, any questions for the teacher? Either of your ideas, either of anything? Do you have a work that you want me to read or anything? We can do that actually. Why didn't I say that before? God damn it. Okay, let me go over here and put it immediately over here into the thing. Hello. Okay, let me go over here and quickly go to the library and say, like, I completely forgot to do this. Everyone though. Very well, send that because I'm right now in the middle of the stream. So, do you have any questions, suggestions? Things you want to talk about, video games, for example. We can talk about anything you want in this precise moment. I'm all yours. What's the difference between a good fantasy from bad? Okay, that's a very good question. How do you make the thing? How do you know when a fantasy is good and when a fantasy is bad? It's something that you can actually feel when you read it, because you sense that the characters are not making a lot of sense. For example, a good fantasy has, in my perspective, little to no exposition of how the world works. If all of your characters, the main cast, have lived in that society from beginning to end, why do they need to be explained? You know, how the magic system works. The only way that works is if you have a character that is out of that world and needs to be explained. In which case that's justified. But if your characters have lived all their lives there are things that do not need to be said. Another thing with good fantasy versus bad fantasy is the setting. How many times can you see the same setting over and over again? And is this good? Is this better than what you have seen before? It's a lot of things about perspective actually. But it's super interesting. It's difficult, like I say, to grab something that is good and something that is bad and put them both together. For example, The Lord of the Rings is an amazing work. Jesus Christ, that work, it's just incredible, right? But on this day and age, it doesn't necessarily work. Because it feels more like a history book, because it has like a lot of appendages and a lot of data that is actually like redundant to the plot. There is no need to be there. But they tell you that and they actually immerse you in the world, but in today's world we actually want to go straight to the action. Right? But that was a good fantasy back in the day. Today it's a little like, hey, this is too much information, I'm getting tired of reading this. But if you like that kind of stuff, you're gonna be super happy with that book. A bad fantasy, for example, will be, let's say, I don't want to call this one like a bad fantasy per se, but Twilight is kind of weak. A little bit, okay? Twilight, the vampire stuff, the romance vampire stuff. It's weak. And then you have another fantasy that is 50 Shades of Grey, that is actually a romantic fantasy. And that is actually so freaking weak too. And you can feel the weakness because the plot is kind of forced. That's another thing that you can actually see. A good fantasy, when it's forced, it doesn't work. Now, do you want to know a very good fantasy? You can feel it when there is the freaking plan was there all along. A good fantasy is when the plan was there all along. There are little to no, well, there are little writers that can actually pull off a whole, like, improvised story all the time. I could actually do that. I actually did that once. Actually, a couple times. Like, they don't have a freaking, like, roadway. But you can feel a good writer from a bad one when everything starts to click together. If you are reading one book and nothing clicks together and there are a lot of plot holes, then you can say that a fictional work is kind of lame and bad, but that's the thing. It's interesting. Interesting question. It actually left me thinking. Good one, Savage. Good one. I could actually make a whole video about what is the difference between a good fantasy from bad. Or we could actually have another discussion of that in another moment. Because right off the bat, I'm actually thinking that everything is good for someone. Everything is good for someone, but it might be bad for more people than good for anything. But yeah, that's amazing. An amazing question. Well, does anybody else have another question? Any other question? For example, Dungeons and Dragons. Really good, but who makes Dungeons and Dragons? The same players. It all depends on the ability of the Dungeon Master. The Dungeon Master can create a very good fantasy or a really bad one. Like I say, you need to have good characters. That's one of the things. Have good characters. Have characters that actually feel alive. Every single character is composed of words, but it's the way those words are presented, it's the way you actually have the thing working, okay? That's the thing. Weak characters, that's another thing. Weak characters. Weak in the sense of like, you know, there are characters that you feel lame, that you feel like this was badly put together. Well, there you go. Another thing that I want to, I will put another thing then. Let me put another thing, okay? Let me put another rule of thumb over here. Actually, I will put it in the beginning. Put another one. There are no bad wishes. They're only overuse or use poorly. That's how it works. That's actually how it works. There are no bad cliches. They are only overused or used poorly. Because you gotta have something like, you gotta have a thing that actually like uses all the cliches. For example, the undefeated protagonist that cannot be defeated, okay? You can have that one and you say like, I have seen that 1,000 times. Superman is that basically. Yeah, it is. But if you do it correctly, like with Invincible, for example, you have a great show. You have a great story. Well, I think we have had a beautiful class today of 1 hour and a half. That is actually what I used to. That's actually what my classes with one of my pupils tend to last. So, ladies and gentlemen, any other question? What? Any other question? Sam, Sophie, Saturn Kara, any other question? Sleepke Studio. Any question about fantasy that you want to ask that I will try to answer to my best ability with my personal experience, my personal knowledge, etc., etc. Do you have anything you want to say? Anything. Just ask away. Oh boy, I love this. I love this. Very well. Da-da-da-da-dum. Very well, very well, very well. Very well. Not that I can think of. Roger that, roger that. Have you ever... that's a question I have for you, Savage. Have you ever read, watched, or heard of a bad fantasy? A bad fantasy. Like, what are your ideas of a bad fantasy? Type like a short answer. There is no need like to give me an essay. Just like, what is a bad fantasy for you? For example, I could think about a bad fantasy, and that will be the ending of Game of Thrones, for example. That's really lame. That was lame as hell. But tell me, what did you think is a bad fantasy, or a good fantasy for that matter? Like, what differentiates the grass from the crops? What is the difference? What is the difference? Because in the end of the day, it's everything about tastes. For example, one could say a bad fantasy has creatures of our world's folklore. One could have that kind of like hard rule. Stuff like Princess Elizabeth or something like that. I can't remember its name correctly. Yeah, tell me more. Doesn't matter the name of the character. Just tell me about it. And then if you have wait, my throat. Oh, go. If you have another answer, please give it to. I want to hear it. I give the question back to every single one of you. What is the difference between a good and a bad fantasy? Between a good and a bad boot? Between a good and a bad play? Twilight. Twilight is bad. You think Twilight is bad? Indeed, that could be bad. Twilight could be bad. Indeed. And now is when I actually ask. Emperor something with the name in the Discord, but it's basically a Mary Sue character saving the world in the most whack-out way. And what is the most whack-out way? What is it? Because Mary Sue is like a weak trope. That's true. It's weak, okay? It's a weak trope. But it could work. Mary Sue and Gary Stu could work. But the problem is that the way they are usually executed, it's poor. That's the thing. And Mary Sue characters are actually weak because everything is given to them. And that is sad. For example, a bad fantasy. The remake of Mulan, the live action one. That Mulan has everything given to her. She has chi, a strong chi, so she's super powerful and there is no need to like self-improve or anything. While in the first Mulan, you have actually a character that needs to improve, that needs to overcome obstacles and all of that. And speaking of Twilight, it's bad in the execution of showing how love develops. What Twilight has is actually like an obsession of sorts. And the problem is that the obsession is not shown at like an obsession. It's shown actually like a true act of love, and it's like a little bit confusing. It's weird. Twilight is weird. But yeah, it's the execution of Twilight, because the idea of having humans fall in love with vampires is nothing new. Dracula was actually the sex appeal of the age. It was about that. He went into women's homes and basically seduced them. That was his whole stitch. So Twilight is not like going out of its way. It's actually doing the same thing that everyone does with vampires. They are alluring, charming, charismatic. The problem with Twilight is that they are shown like really weak, like super mega weak. And weak not in a sense of let's have a weak vampire trying to overcome something, but weak in the sense of like all the time they are like emotionally misguided, I would say. It's weird. It's weird, okay? That's the problem with Twilight, I would say. It's kind of like... It's not bad per se, the idea is kind of cool. It's just a teenage romance, so teenagers. But the problem is that it falls flat on its face, which is sad. And yeah, indeed, Mary Sue characters are a kind of like a problem, I will say, kind of, because like I say, you can have a Mary Sue character that is actually working. What will happen if I told you this? What about the Mary Sue character being one of the side characters instead of the main character? Right? What happens if you do that? If you do that, will it still be a Mary Sue or not? Because we tend to signal like Mary Sue constantly, and Mary Sue will be like you have Mary Sue's that could be the side characters that actually help the main characters, and you wouldn't even recognize them as Mary Sue's because they are not the main character, but they are basically the same. They are liked by everyone, they save the character from every single situation, but your brain will be tricked to think the contrary, because you are looking from a perspective of someone flawed meeting someone quote-unquote perfect. The problem is when the Mary Sue is the main character. When the Mary Sue is the main character, you have nothing to relate to because the character is basically a power fantasy. And usually when you have a Mary Sue, the main problem is that is a projection of the author of how they want to be like perceived by the outside world. It's not a character per se, it's actually the personification of the author being all powerful in a fantasy setting. That's the problem with Mary Sue. If you like find a Mary Sue, it's usually that. It's actually like the character that is perfect, nothing goes against them. When they go against them, they fail, and they are liked by every single one of the friends. They always know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and they are the main focus of the story. But if the Mary Sue is actually another character and the main character is full, but you have a Mary Sue on the sidelines, you actually have an interesting story. Because you're looking a perfect character from the point of view of flawed character, and that is someone that a lot of people can relate to. Because we all have someone that we look up to, thinking that they're perfect. And we are not. And we suffer because they're perfect, that's the thing. The Mary Sue concept is not meant to change though, and that's my main issue, at least. They don't change, they don't experience hardship, and by extension, are boring. Indeed they are. Belle is the most dead, but the other character is sleepy, weird, and stupid. Indeed, they are. That's one of the things. Main characters do a stupid thing. That's a mistake. They don't savage, I know. And that's the thing with Twilight, though. The characters act stupid. The characters are weird. The characters are forced because you can feel like those characters are actually in shackles, and if they weren't in shackles, they will be berserk. That's the part about a good fantasy and a bad fantasy too, is that when your main character has all the power in the world and they don't use it for some stupid reason, you feel like they are forced. Unless you give that stupid reason a very good stupid reason. But like a stupid reason that is cooler to read. That's the thing. And that's the thing about Mary Sue indeed, is that they are not meant to change. Because they are already set and done, they're already perfect, they are chosen by destiny, and there is nothing they can do to change it. and dad using a Mary Sue as a Mary Sue, okay, because like I said, you can have a Mary Sue, let's say like this. A Mary Sue is not set in stone, okay? Mary Sue, let's put that one down here. Mary Sue's and Gary Sue's for that, and Gary are not a white and black thing. They are a spectrum. They are a percentage. Okay. You need to actually avoid. What you need to avoid is your main character falling in between the 85% mark, 5%, and the 100% mark. Because you can have characters that are likable. Cool, good looking, good person in general, etc. But you don't need to make that their whole thing. You can have them. Gary Sue, your terminology unlock. Gary Stew, I believe, is the terminology. Is Gary Stew, I believe. Gary Stew, I believe. Stew with a stew, like this. Gary Stew. The name is Gary Stew. Let me just write it down. Gary Stew. That is how it is. That's the main character when it's male. Gary Stew. They're not a white and black thing. They're a spectrum. They're a percentage. But you need to avoid your main character falling in between 85 and 100%. That's the thing that you need to avoid. This is avoid at all costs. Especially the last one. Especially this one. Avoid at all costs. Especially this one. This one. And 100% is the thing that you need to avoid at all costs. Because this problem. Because the problem with this is that they are not relatable and not something you can achieve. What is actually cool, okay, this is something cool. This is a twist. Twist you can do with a Mary Sue character. Have them be psychopath in disguise and then reveal it. That's one of the things you can do. Because if you think about it, think about it, okay? It's called male Mary Sue's, male Mary Sue's. No, it's Gary Stew's. Gary Stew. So, think about this. Mary Sue's. Okay, Mary Sue's. They are perfect, okay? They have the perfect backstory, the perfect story of the moment, and they are the best individual you can ever encounter, okay? Doesn't sound like someone who's holding a mask and actually being a monster on the other side. That would be the true Mary Sue. Because Mary Sue in the real world doesn't exist. You can actually have them be like a monster. Or maybe, and this is the thing, because you need to subvert expectations from time to time. They have that, or they have such up past that they hide it behind a likable persona, and this is revealed in the middle to end of the book, movie, game, whatever. They break down. Suddenly they, for example, let's make this one. Let's make this stock exercise, okay? A well done twist on the Mary Sue trope. You have a main character that is through and through a Mary Sue, okay? You have one that is through and through a Mary Sue, okay? Best childhood ever. Everyone likes them. everyone loves them. They are good at sword fighting. They are good at everything. Okay? They are good at everything. They are just good. Okay? They're just good. They're just good. They're just perfect person. They have no flaws whatsoever. Until, okay. But this is the thing about the book that you start to notice. They never fall in love. Or don't reciprocate love. Love in a romantic way. In a romantic way. Okay? You can have a couple of main characters falling for them, but they don't reciprocate actively. Something normal about the Mary Sue and all of that is actually that they are like in a harem kind of situation, okay? And you keep this going, okay? You keep this idea like going. You keep this whole thing about the Mary Sue going. Your book is like a Mary Sue book. Everybody's pointing it out, is saying like, this is a Mary Sue, what am I reading this? But you hit little things. You leave breadcrumbs along the way. It's slow and surely you're leaving breadcrumbs, but all the time the Mary Sue is still a Mary Sue. She can make the best plot imaginable to escape from prison, to dethrone a bad king, to whatever you want. It's a Mary Sue, it's your main character, everything is fine. And then you reveal it. And then the mask falls off. They make a friend. Someone that they really trust. And so, let's make this scenario. Our main character, okay, the Mary Sue, is enchanted by this other character. For some reason, they're enchanted. They like them, they respect them, they feel like they are safe. They feel like they are safe. And you are just revealing these more complex feelings about your main character. So the reader is confused. Wasn't this a Mary Sue with all the answers all the time and all the confidence all the time? Well, no. And so your main character, like in every fantasy setting, just like, and you're giving this like little like bits of information as you write in this whole scene that your main character is distracted. Okay, your main character is feeling a kind of romantic. Your main character is feeling weird. Your main character is feeling like something weird, and then the reader could say, oh, they're falling in love, finally. They're finding someone who is suitable for them. Another Mary Sue. Or another Gary Stu. Like that. They're just thinking that that is the case. Like they are lowering their guard. That means that they're going to finally fall in love. They have found their match. And they go and take a bath with the friend/romantic interest. Naked, obviously, right? And then you have your main character, right? Your Mary Sue. And then you have your main character relax, thinking that everything is going to be okay, thinking that she is safe. And there is not a bad plot twist coming, okay? I'm not doing something horrible that is going to happen. I'm actually going to do the revelation that the Mary Sue is not the Mary Sue, that she's safe. that she is protected, that no one can harm her. And so you start to think about it and you are like, what? Nobody has ever harmed her. She had the perfect childhood, she was perfect. What is going on and why is she having this train of thought? Why is she thinking that she's safe? Wasn't she safe before? Wasn't she protected with her whole companions? The other love interests that are always after her. So what is happening here? And then you have it. The Mary Sue panics. She just realized what she has done. And then she looks at her friend and finds out that he or she has seen her scars. Our Mary Sue is a runaway slave. She has the marks of the whip and the iron of property. She has been putting a facade is with the C, but we'll see what is that facade all this time, and now she's terrified that she is actually going to lose the respect of her new friend, because nobility in that world is everything. And a slave or was slave, it's nothing. And she is vulnerable. She is terrified. This person will actually betray her. She was never safe. She was never secure. Why did she thought that she could keep the ruse alive for so long? But the friend actually, after calming her down, decides to hug her and tell her that she doesn't need to run or keep facade anymore. She's free here, and all her friends will always be there for her as she was for them. And so you can change your Mary Sue into a relatable character that will actually start acting more human from that point on. There you go. You have a Mary Sue completely changed in the idea of a fantasy setting set in a medieval time or ancient time. That's like the twist on the Mary Sue trope. You had the perfect character all along. Every single one of your readers thought this was the perfect character. There was nothing bad coming her way. There was nothing bad with her. There was nothing bad that was ever going to happen. You have the plot twist. You do the plot twist. It was never what it seems. Your character was something different. Bomb monster survival too? You can do that too? You can do that everything. You can do everything. You can do whatever you want. She was actually a mutant. She was whatever you want. Whatever you want. You can do a Mary Sue also that just is a Mary Sue. If you want to do that, do that. But going against the trope is actually kind of cool. And going with the trope is too. You can have a niche audience there, someone who likes the Mary Sue trope, will read a Mary Sue trope because they know that there is nothing wrong ever going to happen, and that is fine. When someone reads a Mary Sue, usually goes there because, well, they don't want to be challenged, they just want to have a little bit of fun. But if you do a plot twist that is actually really well done, you can subvert their expectations, surprise them, and make them more interested. And that is the real challenge over there. Make your audience more interested in the plot twist that they were with the original story. Because if you're gonna have a plot twist, you better have a plot twist that is so good that the previous story is left behind. It's completely like, this is what I'm waiting for, actually. You need to make your audience say that. In that exact moment when you do the plot twist, all the audience needs to just drop their jaw, you know, and say, this is what we were waiting for, and we didn't even know it. That's the thing. That's how I will make like a Mary Sue. I will either do them perfect, but be a side character, or make them the main character, actually put in the facade that they're the Mary Sue. That's how I will do it. That's my personal way of doing it, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, we are at 2-hour mark already. We have only 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Do you have any final remarks, any final message, anything that you want to say to me, or for the channel, or anything of that matter? Tell me what you want. Tell me, how was the stream? Did you learn something new? Did you were able to like think of new ideas to write or to do or something like that? Tell me whatever you want. Right now is your time. Do it. It's an open mic, one will say. Well, open chat. So just chat away. Tell me. How was your day? How was this stream? How was it? It was entertaining. It wasn't entertaining. I need to change something. I actually need to keep doing this. I actually need to like do a little more like thing. Donate so my boss can buy shit or else. Love it so much. Love it. I'm gonna pin that comment. You cannot delete it. Do not delete it. Do not delete it. No, I wanted to. Come on. That was great. That was a great one, Savage. Come on. Well, that was amazing. Oh, goddammit, I wasn't able to. I wanted to pin it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you, and I'm glad that it was relaxing, Danny. I want to thank all of you for coming to the last stream of the week. We are going to see back in 3 days, because tomorrow I have things to do, the day after that I have things to do, so we will see back in 3 days. Gonna be quicker than that. Edie, I know, Savage, I know. You're far too quick. You must have like a hotkey that immediately destroy your messages. Probably. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Thank you to all the members, Sleepgate, Saturn Kara, and Brian P. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you. Thank you, Savage Sophia, for being here. And thank you, Danny, for being here. Thank you, all of you, for being here. It was a lot of fun. And I hope to see you all in the next stream. So, I would say this has been an amazing class. Class can dismiss. Thank you for coming. I hope you had a blast. I was the Lost Chevalier, signing out. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Why am I monster? Why? Oh, no, I clicked. Oh, no, I need to do something about the thing of my eyes. God damn it. Oh, my. What did I click? Oh, wait. This is the... no. There we go. Bye-bye.